I went on a reality dating show, and the producers forced me to call my ex. So, I dialed the one with the legendary temper, the A-list superstar who literally has 0 negative reviews online. The call connected. I kept my voice deadpan and asked, "Hey, are you dead yet?" The entire studio went pin drop silent. The director's face completely cracked, and 3 seconds later, a low, husky chuckle echoed from the other end of the line. "Zhang Feng, missing me already?" My name is Zhang Feng. I'm a 26-year-old freelance photographer, or to be brutally honest, a struggling one. Actually, scratch that. I'm an unemployed photographer who is basically starving to death. So, when the producers of Signal of Hearts waived a $30,000 appearance fee per episode in my face, I signed that contract without even glancing at the fine print. I mean, it's just a reality show, right? Just sitting around, chatting, eating, and faking a little romantic chemistry. Piece of cake. I even prepped 3 sharp suits for it. Well, they belong to my roommate. "You had better be damn careful with this," he warned me. I haven't even had the chance to wear this Armani myself. When he handed the clothes over, he looked exactly like a heartbroken father giving his daughter away at the altar. "Relax, man," I told him. "It's not like I'm going to wear it to a construction site. Going on a dating show with your personality is way more dangerous than construction work." My roommate looked me up and down, shaking his head. "With that smart mouth of yours, you are going to get canceled by the entire internet after episode 1. I completely brushed him off. But on the first day of filming, the moment I arrived, I realized the cast for this show was absolutely insane. There were 8 guests in total, 4 men and 4 women. And right there among the guys was Lucas Chen, a massive, top-tier celebrity. We are talking 30 million followers, the kind of golden boy who makes girls lose their minds and scream just by flashing a smile. As soon as he walked into the room, the other 3 female guests were visibly swooning, while I just stayed tucked in my corner, quietly scarfing down the free sandwich the production crew provided. "Hey, since I'm already here, I might as well get my money's worth from the catering," I muttered. The very first segment of the day was an icebreaker game. The director held up a cue card, grinning like an absolute fox. "For this next part, I would like each guest to call their ex-partner. Put it on speakerphone so the whole world can hear your story." The atmosphere in the room completely tanked in an instant. Some guests let out these awkward, nervous laughs. Others looked genuinely panicked. But Lucas Chen, he remained perfectly composed, casually taking a slow sip of his red wine, looking like the absolute epitome of a guy whose past relationships all ended on magically good terms. Then, it was my turn. The director locked eyes with me. "Zhang Feng, word is your ex was a woman with a notoriously terrible temper, right?" I shrugged. "Oh yeah, big time, just how bad?" The director leaned in, totally hooked. "The last time I forgot her birthday, she launched my camera straight off a 5th-floor balcony. The entire room erupted into laughter. The director eagerly egged me on. "Well, call her up then. Let us see what this terror is really like." I pulled out my phone, scrolled down to a contact saved as the ancestor, and hesitated for a fraction of a second. We had not spoken a single word to each other in 2 whole years. I had no clue if she had even kept the same number. But whatever, I was already in too deep. The call actually went through. It rang 4 agonizing times before she finally picked up. I spoke first. My tone was totally flat, casual, as if I were just asking about the weather. "Hey, are you dead yet?" The air in the room instantly curdled. I could literally feel every single person around me stop breathing. The director's smug smile completely froze on his face, like someone just slammed the pause button on him. Lucas Chen's hand, casually holding his wine glass, violently flinched. The female guest sitting right across from me just stared with her mouth hanging wide open, not even noticing when her sandwich plopped right onto her expensive dress. Dead silent. It was absolutely dead silent. 3 seconds. 5 seconds, 7 seconds passed. Just as the panicked director was frantically signaling the staff to cut the feed, a soft, faint chuckle echoed from the other side of the line. The laugh was light, dripping with this lazy confidence, and just a tiny bit of surprise, along with something else, something dangerous and hard to define. Zhang Feng. The exact second that voice rang out, I watched the director's pupils dilate in pure shock. The cameraman's hand trembled, jarring the lens. A female guest sitting nearby let out an audible, terrified gasp. Because that voice, there is probably not a single person in all of America who would not instantly recognize it. Lily Shu Wei, the A-list movie star, chart-topping singer, and the undisputed sweetheart of the nation. 80 million followers. Infamous for her terrifying, legendary temper. Yet miraculously, she has absolutely 0 bad press or negative reviews online. The rumor is that the last paparazzi idiot who dared to provoke her is now selling roasted yams on a street corner just to survive. And I had just nonchalantly asked her if she was dead on a nationally broadcasted reality TV show on blasting speakerphone. Missing me? Her sultry voice echoed through the phone. I bet you're smiling right now. I casually glanced around at the horrified expressions of everyone in the room. The director's face was completely shattered. The poor guy looked like he had aged 10 years in 10 seconds. Lucas Chen's expensive red wine had spilled all over his pristine white shirt, and he did not even realize it. The female guest next to him had her mouth open wide enough to comfortably fit an entire egg inside. I just awkwardly cleared my throat. No, I just wanted to confirm you were still breathing. Honestly, with your insane workload, it would not be surprising if you just dropped dead on set one day. Oh? Are you actually worried about me? She teased. Hell no, I am worried about my camera. You still haven't paid me back a single dime for those damages. You're seriously still holding on to some petty grudge from 2 years ago? She scoffed. That camera cost $5,600, I shot back. You literally tossed it right off a 5th floor balcony. I remember it perfectly. She went dead silent for 2 seconds, then suddenly burst into a loud, mocking laugh. Fine, I'll just have my assistant wire the cash to you. Was there anything else? Nope, that's it. Then why the hell are you even calling me? The show's producers made me do it. Wait, you are on a reality dating show? Yeah, I'm broke. Another heavy, lingering silence fell over the line. Then, Lily's voice completely shifted, dropping into this dangerously quiet tone I knew way too well. Which network is broadcasting this? Why do you even want to know? I asked, instantly on guard. No reason. Lily, don't you dare start any drama. Oh, please, when have I ever started anything? Literally that time, you threw my camera off a balcony. That was 100% on you. I instantly hung up. The entire filming set was so dead quiet, you could actually hear the faint hum of the air conditioner. The way the entire crew stared at me, it was like they were looking at a dead man walking straight to his execution. The director was the very first one to break the silence, his voice visibly trembling. Zhang Feng, your ex-girlfriend is Lily Shu? Like the A-list movie star Lily Shui? And you just call her out like that? People treat her like absolute royalty. She is infamous for her ruthless temper. What else am I supposed to call my ex? I shrugged. The director slowly turned to the cameraman. The cameraman frantically shook his head, his eyes screaming, I am way too terrified to keep filming this. Desperate. The director then locked eyes with the producer, but the producer was already huddled in the corner on his phone, whispering frantically. Legal department? Yeah. We are definitely going to need you all to work some serious overtime. Across the room, Lucas Chen finally noticed the massive red wine stain on his designer shirt, but he was too stunned to even care. He just stared blankly at me, his eyes swirling with a mix of shock and calculation that looked as complicated as advanced calculus. Zhang Feng, he started, forcing a stiff professional smile onto his face. Do you and Lily actually know each other? We're exes, I replied flatly. Wait, exes? Right. We split up exactly 2 years ago. His fake smile completely faltered for a split second before he quickly forced it back on. Well, it is certainly a small world, bringing her up out of nowhere on an occasion like this. I just stared right back at him. His smile looked so impossibly fake. That night, the panicked production team held a frantic emergency meeting to debate whether they could legally air that segment. Their final, greedy conclusion? Air it. Because they knew if they actually showed it, it wouldn't just be a massive ratings hit, it would be absolute television legend. The episode officially aired at 8 p.m. By 9 p.m., my phone literally exploded with notifications. My college roommate had already called me 17 times and spammed me with 43 unread messages. I cautiously opened the very first text. Zhang Feng, have you completely lost your mind? Your ex is Lily Shui? You seriously asked Lily Shui if she was dead on national TV? Are you even still alive? Seriously, are you still alive right now? Lily Shui's massive fan base has already completely swarmed our social media. You are currently #1 on all the trending topics. The top hashtag is literally dating show. Male guest asks if famous ex is dead. The second biggest trending topic is Lily Shui's mystery ex-boyfriend. And the third one is, who the hell is Zhang Feng? It is over, bro. It is so over. You are totally dead meat. I just sighed, turned my phone completely off, took a hot shower, and went straight to bed. Honestly, what was the worst that could happen? I couldn't possibly get any poorer than I already was. When I finally woke up the next morning, I was shocked to discover my Instagram followers had skyrocketed from a measly 300 to over 800,000. The chaotic comments were deeply divided into 3 main camps. The angry first camp, who the hell is this absolute nobody? How does trash like him deserve to have ever dated our precious Lily? The amused second camp, ha ha ha, literally calling her up to ask if she was dead. I am completely dying of laughter here. What kind of absolute savage talks to a superstar like that? And the surprisingly thirsty third camp. Okay, girls, let's calm down for a second. This guy actually looks seriously hot. I casually scrolled through maybe 2 more pages of chaos, then just logged off. Suddenly, my phone vibrated in my hand. It was a text from Lily's personal assistant. Mr. Jiang, Miss Shui asked me to formally inform you that the camera wire transfer is completely finished. Please check your bank account. Also, she says there is absolutely no need to ever pay her back. Thank you for your so-called concern. Right on cue, a bank notification popped up on my screen. $56,000 received. Well, I'll be damned. The crazy girl actually paid it. Man, if I had known she was going to be this generous, I really should have asked for $100,000 instead. The second I arrived at the reality show filming base, the entire atmosphere felt drastically different. Just yesterday, every single person here treated me like I was completely invisible. But today, the way everyone nervously looked at me had entirely changed. One of the female guests, Clara, strutted over with her morning coffee, smiling far too sweetly. Jiang Feng, did you manage to sleep well last night? She purred. Pretty well. Yeah, I replied. Oh really, have you even seen those crazy comments blowing up online? So many angry fans are absolutely trashing you right now. I haven't really looked. I shrugged. Wow, you have a really surprisingly good attitude about all this. She then leaned in noticeably closer. But seriously, what exactly is the real deal with you and the famous Lily Shu? How do you two even know each other? I just looked down at her. She was desperately digging for juicy gossip, and from the corner of my eye, I saw the cameras were already rolling. We were just college classmates, I said dryly. That is all. Then why did you guys break up? She pushed. Because she threw my camera away, I deadpanned. Wait, just because of that? A $56,000 camera? Hey, you try throwing one off a building and see what happens, I shot back. Clara instantly choked on her next words, forced a highly awkward smile, and quickly walked away. Right after, Lucas Chen casually strolled down from upstairs, wearing a ridiculously crisp, clean, expensive white shirt. His hair was meticulously styled to perfection. He spotted me, flashed a bright smile, and confidently walked right over. Jiang Feng, good morning, man. Things were certainly quite lively on the internet last night, weren't they? Lily's rabid fans didn't give you too hard of a time, did they? They were okay, I muttered. Well, that is good to hear. He reassuringly patted my shoulder with just the perfectly calculated amount of force. After all, that drama is all in the past now. You came on this show to find a fresh new love interest, right? His heavy hand deliberately stayed resting right on my shoulder. His perfect smile looked incredibly warm, and his smooth tone sounded super sincere. But his cold eyes weren't smiling at all. This smug jerk actually thought he could mark his territory on me. I casually brushed his heavy hand right off my shoulder. Hey, your shirt collar is crooked, I told him. He instinctively looked down for a second. It wasn't crooked at all, but by the time he glanced back up, I had already walked away, leaving him looking like a total fool. Today's brutal segment was all about date selection. The 4 male guests each had to prepare a unique date plan. The female guests would then choose exactly whose date they wanted to join. Lucas Chen flexed his wealth by preparing a complete private cinema buyout. Another snobby male guest locked in a 3-star Michelin dinner. The third guy flaunted a luxury yacht excursion. But when it was finally my turn, the director stared down at my plan card, his expression slowly twisting into pure disbelief. Jiang Feng, are you absolutely sure about this? Sure am. Well, what exactly is your date plan? He took a deep, agonizing breath and read it aloud to the group. A hardcore haggling contest at the local farmer's market. The entire room went dead silent for 3 long seconds. Then, the female guests completely lost it, laughing out loud. Lucas Chen's mouth twitched with sheer disdain. Are you actually serious right now? Even the director chimed in. Yeah, are you? Well, I said, entirely deadpan. The farmer's market is hands down the best place to test someone's raw life skills. A woman who can ruthlessly bargain $10 vegetables down to $5 is an absolute keeper. The production staff was literally howling with laughter behind the cameras. Bro, are you looking for a romantic partner or a cutthroat business associate? Honestly, is there even a difference? I shot back. The final results rolled in. Lucas Chen snagged his private cinema date. 2 female guests practically fought over the Michelin dinner. 1 female guest eagerly chose the luxury yacht. And absolutely nobody chose my farmer's market survival test. Wait, hold on. 1 female guest actually did choose mine. It was a sweet girl named Sarah. She had a soft, round face and adorable deep dimples whenever she smiled. She looked like the kind of person who was incredibly easy to get along with. After she confidently made her choice, the other female guests all stared at her like she had completely lost her mind. She just gave them a casual shrug. I think it's actually kind of interesting, you guys. I mean, I've never haggled at a local farmer's market before. The stunned director leaned over and whispered frantically to the producer on the sidelines. This raw footage right here, it's either going to completely blow up the internet, or it's going to be a total, unmitigated disaster. Later that afternoon, Sarah and I hit the bustling farmer's market. The massive camera crew awkwardly trailed right behind us. The passing old folks shot us weird, judgmental glances. Who does that Zhang Feng guy think he is? Sarah suddenly looked a bit nervous. I really don't know how to haggle at all, she admitted. It's totally fine. I'll teach you, I reassured her. Are you really that good at it? Listen, I've been dead broke for 26 years. It is literally my only survival skill. I led her straight to a busy stand selling plump tomatoes. The vendor lady greeted us with a warm, booming voice. Hey, handsome, want some tomatoes? They just arrived fresh from the farm today. Super fresh. How much per pound? I asked. $5. I immediately turned to look at Sarah. All right, go ahead, give it a try. Sarah nervously cleared her throat, gathered every ounce of courage she had, and squeaked out, ma'am, can you maybe give us a small deal? The vendor lady just smiled pityingly. Oh, honey, it's already incredibly cheap. Sarah spun back to look at me, her face screaming helpless defeat. I let out a heavy sigh and confidently stepped right forward. Ma'am, can you do $4 flat? We're buying quite a lot here. No way, kid. 5 is my absolute lowest. Ma'am, come on, look at this. This tomato is clearly a bit soft. It's honestly not very fresh. Where on earth is it soft? Touch it again. It's firm as a literal rock. Okay, well, what about this one? This one definitely has cracks all over it. That one doesn't even count. Stop jumping around my stall, she huffed. I countered, $4.50, and I'll take 3 pounds for $4.80. $4.50, not a single penny more, or I'm walking away right now. I snapped back. You stubborn young people. Fine, $4.50 it is. Sarah watched the entire brutal exchange from the sidelines, completely stunned. Wow, you're amazing. This isn't amazing, Sarah. This is a desperate skill born purely out of being dead poor. She burst out laughing, those cute dimples showing deep on her cheeks. We walked around the chaotic market for a solid hour and ended up buying a massive, heavy bag full of fresh groceries. From her initial feeling of being totally and utterly lost, she incredibly reached the point where she could smoothly talk to the grumpy fishmonger herself and ruthlessly haggle him down $2 whole. She learned scarily fast. After sealing the deal, she quickly turned to look at me, her bright eyes absolutely sparkling with victory. I actually managed to get a discount. She wore the exact round expression on the red schooler who had just scored a perfect 100 on a massive test. Not bad at all. I nodded approvingly. You've got some real talent. On the long walk back, she happily marched in front, carrying the heavy grocery bag, her steps surprisingly light and bouncy, while the tired cameras kept filming us from behind. I could just feel it in my gut. This specific footage would turn out incredibly well once it hit the editing room. But suddenly, my phone started ringing. It was an unsaved mystery number. I slowly picked it up. Zhang Feng. It was Lily's freezing cold voice. She didn't even use an assistant to reach out. She had actually called me personally. My casual steps instantly faltered. Sarah noticed and looked back at me with concern. Hey, what's wrong? It's nothing serious. You just go on ahead, I told her. I quickly walked aside and sharply lowered my voice into a tense whisper. What is it now? I watched that new reality show of yours. Wait, how did you even see it? It hasn't even aired on TV yet. I have my own private channels. Are you seriously snooping on the unreleased edited clips? Is it really considered snooping for a major investor to watch their very own show? I froze dead in my tracks. Wait. You invested in this exact show? Just invested last month. Last month? I hadn't even officially joined the cast yet, right? Her tone was terrifyingly breezy and light. Wow, what an absolute coincidence, right? I gripped my phone tight, a freezing cold chill violently running straight down my spine. Lily, what exactly are you trying to do to me? Nothing at all, she said coldly. Just letting you know who's in charge. Perform well for me. Click. The call was abruptly disconnected. I stood frozen alone at the dirty entrance of the farmer's market, holding those cheap tomatoes I had just ruthlessly fought to get for $4.50 a pound. I suddenly felt a deep, sickening dread. That massive $30,000 appearance fee? Yeah, it might not be nearly that easy to earn after all. I was stepping right into a trap. By the time we finally got back to the main filming base that tense evening, the exhausted production team had already arranged a lavish group dinner for everyone. All 8 reality guests sat around a massive table, the surrounding atmosphere seemingly peaceful and harmonious. But I knew a massive storm was quietly brewing right underneath. Lucas Chen sat right across from me, playing the perfect gentleman as he served food to the girl beside him. His smile was absolutely flawless. Word on the street was he took 2 of the female guests to a private cinema for his date today. Everyone was whispering about what a perfect catch he was, totally attentive to every single little detail. When the girls got back, their eyes were full of stars. Oh my God, Lucas is just so incredibly thoughtful. He even held our popcorn for us the entire time. He actually remembered me saying I loved thrillers last time, and specifically picked out a suspense movie just for me. I just kept my head down and shoveled food into my mouth. What the hell does any of that have to do with me? All I care about is that I saved $3.50 today. Sarah sat down next to me and whispered, "Hey, thanks for today. I genuinely had a lot of fun." "No sweat," I replied. "Did you grab the groceries?" "Yup. I'm planning to whip up some tomato and egg stir-fry tomorrow. Just remember to add sugar." "Oh, is that the secret? You have a sweet tooth?" she asked. "Nope, I just like whatever's cheap." She burst out laughing all over again. Right in the middle of our meal, the director suddenly stormed in. His face was lit up with that manic, greedy look, the exact kind of look that meant he was about to stir up some serious trouble. "All right, listen up, everyone. We are adding a temporary last-minute segment." Every single person immediately dropped their chopsticks. We received a special mandate from the investors," he stammered out, saying it's strictly to boost the show's shock value. "Starting tomorrow, a highly mysterious guest will be crashing the show." My hand froze entirely, my chopsticks dangling in midair. "A surprise guest? Wait, who is it?" Claire asked, totally hooked. "That is a closely guarded secret for now," the director purred, flashing a ridiculously smug smile. "But I will give you guys one tiny hint. It is a female guest, and she is incredibly, unbelievably famous." And right as he said that, his eyes locked dead onto mine. That one split-second glance was all it took for me to catch on. I slammed my chopsticks down onto the table. "It's Lily. It has to be Lily, that absolute psycho of a woman." I whipped out my phone under the table and frantically texted her. "Are you coming here?" 3 seconds later, she hit me back. "Coming where? Do not play dumb with me. You know exactly what I'm talking about." "Listen to me, Lily. If you even dare show your face here, I am walking off this set right now." Her response? "Quitting what show? Fine, then go ahead and quit. Can your broke self actually afford a $300,000 breach of contract fee? Go check the news, Lily. You've been trending for 8 straight years." My follower count just skyrocketed from 200 to 200,000. We hit trending number 1, dating show guest asks if famous ex is dead. Trending number 3, Lily Shu's ex-boyfriend says, "Bro, if I'm dead, give me my Armani back." I didn't even bother replying to her because I was totally paralyzed by another incoming message. This one from a chat I had literally saved as the ancestor. "Lily, what's the name of the show? Lily, what platform is it streaming on? Lily, if you won't tell me, I'll just hunt it down myself. Lily, I found it. Lily, who is that guy in the white shirt sitting way too close to you? Lily, why does he keep staring at you like that? Lily, it's Jin Feng. Lily, stop playing dead." "Screw this," I muttered, violently slamming my phone face down onto the table. When filming kicked off the very next day, the atmosphere on set was thick and suffocating, like the dead silence right before a massive hurricane hits. The show's original format was the classic heartbeat selection segment, where everyone secretly writes down the name of the person they want to take on a one-on-one date. But right before the cameras started rolling, the director dragged me into a dark corner. "Jin Feng," he whispered, aggressively rubbing his hands together. His face was twisted in this unholy mix of sheer panic and unbridled greed. After that segment aired last night, our ratings absolutely went through the roof. We just claimed 3 massive spots in the top 10 trending topics on Weibo. The related hashtags on TikTok are already crossing over 200 million views. I just stared at him blankly. And what the hell does any of that have to do with me? Of course it has to do with you. You are literally the biggest draw keeping this entire show alive right now. Every single viewer out there is dying to know what is actually going on between you and Lily. They want to know exactly how you two broke up, and if there is any chance you guys will get back together. I just kept glaring at him, totally deadpan. "No way," I flatly refused. "Come on, don't shoot me down so fast," the director pleaded, forcing a desperate, oily smile. "All I'm asking is, could you maybe drop Lily's name a bit more during the shoots?" "So, you want me to use my ex to farm cheap drama?" I snapped. "Hey now, It's not farming drama. It's simply enriching the show's narrative content. He deflected. Do you even know who Lily's manager is? Have you heard of Big Sister Wang? That woman is an absolute terror in this industry. The last time someone crossed her over a single gossip article, she forced an editor-in-chief to fly 3,000 kilometers just to grovel and apologize in person. Are you absolutely sure you want to poke that bear? The director's greasy smile instantly froze. He awkwardly patted my shoulder. Right. Well, let's just let things flow naturally then, he choked out. And with that, filming began. During the big heartbeat selection reveal, the 4 female guests all locked in the guy they wanted to date the most. But when the host announced the final results, I swear to God, I nearly spit out my drink. 4 votes. I got all 4 freaking votes. A completely unanimous decision. The pathetic nobody who was treated like an absolute ghost yesterday had suddenly become the main character today. Off camera, the director looked like he had just won a billion-dollar lottery jackpot. Meanwhile, across the room, Lucas Chen's flawless perfect guy mask finally showed its very first crack. That plastic smile was still glued to his face, but his eyes, they were completely cold and dead. Jean Feng, he called out, strolling over with his coffee, trying way too hard to sound casual. Wow, color me impressed. A unanimous sweep. I guess coasting on the title of Lily Xue's ex-boyfriend really does pay off, huh? Maybe, I muttered, not even bothering to look up at him. I kept tinkering with my camera settings, completely dismissing him. But seriously, man, how did a guy like you even meet Lily? I've been in this industry for years. I've literally never heard of her having a boyfriend, he said, raising an eyebrow. You guys were college classmates? College? Wait, isn't Lily from the Central Academy of Drama? Are you too? Yeah, I replied flatly. Photography department. He scoffed. Then how come you didn't stay in the industry, considering your connections with Willie? A single word from you could have opened any door. I met his gaze coldly. I don't like asking for favors. I looked up at him. The fingers gripping his coffee cup tightened just a fraction. What are you two gossiping about? Clara strutted over and seamlessly linked her arm through mine, flashing a sickeningly sweet smile. Jiang Fang, pick me for today's one-on-one date, okay? Whatever. What do you mean, whatever? Clara aggressively pinched my arm. Honestly, if you talk to me with the same sheer bitterness you use with Lily, I'd hate your guts for a lifetime. I glanced down at her fingers, digging ruthlessly into my skin. If those manicured claws pressed down any harder, I was going to need a freaking rabies shot. Our date venue was a high-end French restaurant. Clara and I sat across from one another, and she didn't stop talking. She rambled about everything from horoscopes to blood types, Myers-Briggs tests to tarot cards. I just half listened while flipping through the menu. Jiang Fang, what's your zodiac sign anyway? Capricorn. Oh my God, I totally knew it, she gasped. Capricorn men are always super repressed. What sign is Lily? Scorpio, I muttered. Scorpio and Capricorn? Wow, you guys are basically water and fire. Yeah, she threw my camera off a 5th floor balcony once. Definitely fiery enough. Clara practically howled with laughter, leaning back and slamming the table so hard the silverware actually rattled. But right in the middle of her laughing fit, she suddenly leaned in close, dropping her voice to a whisper. Jiang Fang, seriously, do you still love Lily? My hand froze on the menu for a split second. The foie gras looks good. Do you want to try it? I asked. She rolled her eyes. You're totally changing the subject again. And this black truffle pasta is a bit too basic, I continued. But the production crew is paying, so we might as well order it. Clara puffed out her cheeks, glaring daggers at me. I deliberately ignored her question. It wasn't that I just didn't want to answer her. It was that I simply couldn't. I still remember the day we broke up 2 years ago with crystal clarity. It wasn't some cliché, dramatic movie scene. There was no secret third party. There were no toxic misunderstandings and absolutely no betrayal. Lily just stood quietly at the door of her new apartment, holding my last box of belongings, and calmly handed it over. That day, she didn't lose her temper or throw a single thing. Her eyes didn't even turn the slightest bit red. The absolute last thing she said to me was, Jiang Fang, you're just too exhausted being with me. You're far too exhausted. I took the heavy cardboard box and stood there in dead silence for a long time, desperately wanting to say something back. My mouth opened, but not a single sound came out. And then the door gently closed. Packed inside that box were my 3 spare camera lenses, 2 oversized sweatshirts, a random toothbrush, and 1 small handwritten note from her. It only had 4 words scribbled on it. Stop staying up late. I still haven't managed to throw that damn note away. I keep it safely tucked inside a hidden pocket of my wallet, But obviously, this kind of heavy emotional baggage isn't exactly appropriate to trauma dump on a trashy reality dating show. Plus, talking about it wouldn't do me any good anyway. After the exhausting date wrapped up and I headed back to the shared villa, I immediately noticed the atmosphere in the living room was completely off. The rich snob, Lucas, was lounging on the sofa with another female guest, Maria, sitting right across from him. The two of them were chatting away comfortably. But the exact second they saw me walk through the door, Lucas suddenly raised his voice for my benefit. Honestly, I just think if you come on a reality show, you should at least be sincere about finding love. Some people clearly have ulterior motives, just blatantly using their famous ex's clout to get cheap attention for themselves. That kind of parasitic behavior is just pretty uncomfortable to watch, you know? Maria awkwardly glanced over at me, looking incredibly hesitant to agree. I completely ignored his bait. I just walked right past their sofa, picked up a glass of orange juice from the coffee table, and took a slow, deliberate sip. Jiangfeng, what do you think? Lucas turned to glare directly at me. Think about what? I deadpanned. Do you think people actually come on this show to find true love? Or just to don't even worry about it? I cut him off. He flashed me a very practiced, camera-ready smile, but his eyes were totally cold and full of probing, malicious intent. I casually finished the rest of my juice and set the empty glass down with a thud. I'm literally just here for the money. Lucas, Maria, and the entire production crew back in the control room were struck completely speechless. If this episode were streaming with a live chat, the screen would probably be flooded with question marks right about now. Look, the production crew pays me a fat check, so I showed up. I casually wiped my mouth. Does true love even exist? Does finding it count as part of my overtime pay or what? Lucas's fake, perfectly crafted smile finally cracked and collapsed. It was probably the very first time in his privileged life he'd encountered a guy who completely refused to play by his petty reality TV script. In his arrogant mind, someone accused of clout chasing would immediately panic, rush to explain, deflect the blame, and desperately try to prove themselves. But I didn't do any of that, because he was absolutely right. I truly was just here for the paycheck, and I truly didn't give a single damn about what he thought of me. Honestly, that level of blunt transparency is probably way more frustrating for a hater to deal with than any screaming argument. Utterly defeated, Lucas just picked up his coffee cup and took a bitter sip, completely unable to say another word. Later that night, the second episode finally aired, and the internet's trending topics absolutely exploded once again. Jiang Feng saying he's just here for the money makes him the most honest man on the damn show. Bro, the look on Lucas's face when he was left completely speechless was pure gold. Almost immediately, frantic text messages from my buddy Mike started flooding in again. Bro, you just hit 800,000 followers on Instagram. A whole bunch of massive brands are already reaching out and asking for your business rates. Do you want to seriously consider taking on a sponsor? Based on your new internet persona, this anti-cliche, rebellious boyfriend image would be an absolute massive hit. I was just about to shoot a text back when my phone buzzed with a WeChat alert. It was Lily. That guy Lucas sitting right next to you? Yeah, I know him. He is notorious in the industry for being a total snake. Sure, he looks all innocent and harmless on the outside, but trust me, he plays incredibly dirty the second your back is turned. Just stay the hell away from him. I sat there, just dead staring at my screen for 5 solid seconds. I quickly fired back. How exactly do you know Lucas is sitting right next to me? Total silence. 3 excruciating minutes passed before she finally replied. I just heard about it. I scoffed. Oh, come on, I typed back. You are an A-list movie star with a schedule totally booked out until next year. How do you magically have the free time to care about the seating arrangements on some random reality show? I decided not to call her out on her obvious lie, but a deep, sinking pit of dread suddenly formed in my stomach. And sure enough, that terrible premonition became my absolute worst nightmare on the 3rd day. The second I woke up that morning, the production crew came storming into the villa, absolutely buzzing with adrenaline. Huge news, guys. We've got huge news. The director awkwardly cleared his throat, trying so incredibly hard to stop a massive, smug grin from spreading across his face. After a lot of careful consideration, he announced, the production team has officially decided to bring in a surprise guest star this week. He paused dramatically, his eyes slowly sweeping across the room before locking directly onto my face. And the look he gave me was filled with nothing but pure, unadulterated pity. It's Lily. The piece of toast I was holding slipped right out of my hand and hit the floor. Clara let out a shrill, ear-piercing scream, while Maria dropped her expensive phone straight into her glass of milk. Lucas's facial muscles gave a violent twitch, even though he tried his hardest to mask his shock. As for me, I just numbly pulled out my phone and opened up WeChat. I immediately spammed her. Lily, are you totally sick in the head? Her reply came instantly. Love sick for you. I violently slammed my phone face down onto the table. I never should have agreed to come on this stupid show. That $30,000 paycheck? Yeah, that is basically going to be my funeral fund. The day Lily actually arrived, the production team went completely overboard, rolling out 3 times as many camera crews as they normally would. 4 massive, luxury vans pulled up and parked right at the entrance of the villa. Security had completely blocked off the entire street. I just stood there, hiding behind the curtains, staring out at the absolute chaos. What is this? A reality dating show or a literal military parade? Down in the living room, the rest of the cast was waiting around, and man, the sheer panic on their faces was priceless. Clara was having a total meltdown over her makeup. She had already slathered on 3 thick layers, aggressively wiped it all off, and frantically started completely over from scratch. Maria had frantically swapped out her outfits 4 separate times before finally settling on her absolute most expensive designer dress. Meanwhile, another guest, Sarah, was standing in the corner, nervously chewing her fingernails down to the bone. Lucas was the only one trying to act cool and collected, casually chilling on the sofa while flipping through a glossy magazine. But the idiot was holding the magazine completely upside down, and he was too stressed to even realize it. Then, the front door finally swung open. The very second Lily stepped inside, every single drop of sound in that living room just instantly vanished. She was dressed incredibly simply, just wearing a crisp white shirt paired with light-washed denim jeans and casual sneakers. Honestly, it was nothing special at all. But the absolute moment the sunlight hit her flawless face, Clara's expensive powder compact slipped right out of her trembling hand, crashed onto the floor, and completely shattered into a million pieces. Clara did not even bother to look down at the mess. And honestly, I completely understood why. Look, it definitely wasn't because I still harbored any lingering romantic feelings for Lily. It was simply because Lily, as a human being, possesses this incredibly infuriating superpower. Whenever she just stands there in a room, you instantly feel like the very oxygen in the air is only meant for her lungs to breathe, and every single other person is just pathetic and completely in her way. I mean, back when we were in college together, this girl could literally just stroll down the street in a basic school uniform, wearing absolutely zero makeup, and casually cause a massive traffic accident. And I am not even exaggerating for dramatic effect right now. Someone legitimately got so distracted by her that they rode their bicycle straight into a solid concrete telephone pole. Yeah, that absolute idiot was me. Lily's cold, calculating gaze slowly swept across the entire living room, looking exactly like a ruthless queen surveying her newly conquered territory. When her eyes finally swept over Lucas, they paused for exactly 0.3 seconds, the very corners of her mouth curling up into a tiny, mocking smirk. It was this overwhelmingly arrogant, "Oh, you are actually here too?" kind of vibe. Lucas gulped and finally turned his stupid magazine right side up. And then, her eyes locked onto me. In an instant, her facial expression completely shifted from that untouchable "I am the absolute center of the universe" attitude to, well, how on earth do I even describe it? She looked exactly like a starving cat that had just spotted a juicy fish it hadn't seen in 2 whole years. A fish it genuinely thought had already managed to escape. "Zhang Feng," she purred. You have definitely lost some weight." She just stood there, intensely staring into my soul for a few agonizing seconds, before suddenly flashing a gorgeous smile that revealed a cute little fang. My stupid heart violently skipped a beat. Seriously? Haven't we been totally over this for 2 years now? How in the world does that one tiny little fang still hold so much absolute devastating killing power over me? Thankfully, the panicked director rushed right in to desperately try and save the incredibly tense situation. "Miss Lily, welcome to the villa," he stammered, sweating bullets. "May I quickly ask, do you have any specific, special expectations for joining our little show?" Lily finally tore her piercing gaze away from me and casually turned to face the director. Her flirty smile instantly vanished, replaced by the cold, ultra-professional politeness of an A-list celebrity on a boring press tour. "I have absolutely no expectations," she stated flatly. "I just heard that this particular reality show was quite interesting, so I simply decided to come down and experience it for myself." The director was frantically wiping buckets of sweat off his forehead at this point. So, do you happen to have a specific type of guy here who makes your heart beat a little faster?" Lily slowly tilted her head to the side, actually pretending to think about it seriously for 3 long seconds. "Yes, I do." The director's eyes lit up as he eagerly pressed her. "Oh, and what exact type would that be?" Lily slowly turned her head and locked her eyes dead onto mine again. The exact kind of guy who owes me money. The entire studio instantly went dead. Pin drop silent. I just squeezed my eyes shut in pure defeat. This crazy woman literally came on national television just to collect that 56,000. I mean, seriously, she really did not need to go to such extreme lengths. I was totally planning to pay her back in 10-year installments of $66 a month, with a whopping 66 cents of interest calculated completely separately. Obviously, the terrified production team immediately arranged for Lily to stay in the absolute largest, most luxurious master bedroom up on the second floor. The funny part? That used to be Lucas's room. The guy had been ruthlessly kicked out and shoved into a tiny, cramped little single room right next door. He kept up that fake, polite smile the whole time. But when he dragged his luggage away, the wheels of his suitcase gouged 3 deep scratches right into the floor. The rest of the afternoon was free time. I hid out on the roof, desperately needing a moment of peace and quiet. But I didn't even get 3 minutes of silence. The rooftop door creaked open, and Lily strolled over, holding 2 cups of coffee. Sitting right beside me, she slid one my way. "It's fine, no sugar," she said softly. "You still take it black, right?" I stared down at the cup. "Why are you even on this dating show? Recording a reality show? Your schedule is packed tight until next March. I just wrapped filming a movie last week, and you have a massive global fan tour launching next month. Yet here you are, messing around on a dating show. Did your manager actually agree to this madness?" Sister Wang hated it, so I blocked her on social media. Right now, she's desperately sending messages through my assistant, threatening to resign. That makes it the 17th time. I took a heavy, deep breath. "Lily, what do you actually want from me?" She didn't answer right away. She just picked up her coffee and took a slow sip, gazing out at the distant city skyline. The golden afternoon sunlight caught the side of her face, casting delicate shadows from her eyelashes onto her cheekbones. "It's been 2 whole years." Her voice was incredibly soft, almost breaking. "You never even called me. Didn't you say I was too exhausted to be with you? So, you really just walked away. You're the one who told me to leave. Oh, so if I tell you to go, you just go? If I told you to drop dead, would you do that too?" I stayed dead silent. She snapped her head to look at me, raw emotion flickering in her eyes. "Jiang Feng, do you have any idea what makes me the absolute angriest about you? What? You never hold on. Never. You shoulder every single burden completely on your own, and you never say a damn word about needing me. It's like, to you, it doesn't make a difference whether I'm there or not. You make me feel like I am completely disposable in your life." My fingers gripped the coffee cup tighter. Back then I was. Back then what? My mouth opened but no words came out. I sat frozen in silence for 5 agonizing seconds. Back then, the black coffee I bought tasted way better than this crap. Lily just stared at me. For 3 seconds, then 5 seconds. Finally, she punched me hard in the shoulder. "Jiang Feng, can you just be honest and finish your sentences for once in your life?" Ouch. "Oh, shut up, I barely even hit you." "Then maybe hit me like you mean it." Suddenly, the rooftop door was pushed wide open again. Lucas stood right at the entrance, flashing his perfectly fake smile. "Oh, so sorry to bother you two. I just came up to the roof for some fresh air. I had absolutely no idea you guys were out here." "Yeah, right." I totally noticed him creeping. His eyes lingered for a split second on Lily's slightly red, teary eyes, before darting over to me, his smug smile deepening. "Wow, Jiang Feng, you sure are lucky, having the famous Lily personally bring you coffee." I casually picked up my cup and took a slow sip. "Although, there is something I'm just not sure if I should say or not." Lily slowly turned around and glared dead at him. In a flash, that vulnerable girl with red-rimmed eyes completely vanished, instantly replaced by the icy aura of an A-list superstar. "If you don't know whether you should say it, then keep your mouth shut," she snapped coldly. Lucas's perfect smile violently twitched for a second, but 1 second was all it took. You could literally see the muscles in the back of his neck instantly tense up. His warm smile shifted from natural to completely stiff, and then forced its way from stiff back to natural. The whole pathetic mask slip took no more than 2 seconds. He quickly changed the subject. "Well then, I'll head downstairs first. You two enjoy your chat." The second he closed the door, Lily turned right back to face me. Her expression flipped yet again. "See, I told you he's a manipulative, two-faced fake. You really think that guy just happened to pass by the roof for fresh air? The monitor room is way down on the first floor. He absolutely saw me come up and stalked me. Why do you even care about him?" "I don't give a damn about him. I care about you. Don't get too close to a guy like that." "I'm not close to him. Honestly, I'm not close to anyone." "What about me?" I just stared down at my coffee. You're holding your coffee cup totally backward, Lily sighed. You're literally drinking from the bottom of the cup. I quickly spun the cup around. It was over. My cool act was completely busted. Those 2 painful years apart felt like they were all for absolutely nothing. That very night, the explosive news of Lily's surprise appearance on the dating show completely crashed the social media servers. The headlines were wild. Lily Shu joins heartbeat signal. Lily Shu and her ex-boyfriend trapped on the exact same show. Lily Shu, glaring like her ex, owes her millions. And worst of all, Jiang Feng awkwardly caught drinking from the bottom of his coffee cup. Then came the texts. Mike, bro, you hit 3 million followers already. I'll totally help you manage your brand sponsorship rates. I've already drafted up a contract version. Take a quick look at the attached picture. I clicked it open. He was insanely quoting me at $500,000 per single advertisement. Jiang Feng, are you completely out of your mind? What brand is going to drop $500,000 on a washed-up expired photographer? Mike, bro, you are definitely not a washed-up photographer anymore. You are Lily Shu's infamous ex-boyfriend. You're basically the entire country's main dating target right now. Your market value is totally on another level. Get it, Mike? Oh, and also, that sad line of yours about being broke went massively trending. A few instant ramen brands are seriously begging to have you as their new official spokesperson. Jiang Feng, forget it, no way. Mike, come on, even a huge camera brand wants you. They desperately want to film an ad with you. The crazy concept is throwing the camera off the 5th floor to prove it still won't break. I let out an exhausted sigh and powered off my phone. The chaotic show officially entered its 4th day. From the exact second Lily walked onto the set, the entire vibe of this dating show was completely flipped upside down. Nobody cared who was catching feelings for who anymore. Now, the only thing that mattered was whether Lily was shooting death glares at me today. The show's live chat basically morphed into a hardcore scientific research lab. People were literally tracking the length of Lily's stares down to the absolute millisecond. And me? I suddenly became the most heavily debated guy on the internet. Half the viewers are cheering me on, calling me the ultimate ex. They love that I broke up cleanly, with no lingering drama, no clout chasing, and am just living my life with absolute clarity. But the other half? They are in the comment section, 24/7, aggressively demanding, get back together, get back together, get back together. Honestly, I don't want to be on either side. I just want to keep my head down, finish shooting this circus quietly, grab my paycheck, and get the hell out of here. But of course, Lucas was not about to let me have even a second of peace. Our morning group activity was cooking breakfast. The 8 of us were split into 2 teams to battle it out. And surprise, surprise, Lily was locked right onto my team. I was getting ready to fry the eggs when she confidently rolled up her sleeves and marched right over to the stove. You just focus on chopping the vegetables, she ordered. Leave the stove to me. You just chop your veggies, she insisted, taking over the pan. I just kept my head down, slicing a cucumber, when I suddenly heard a vicious sizzle from right next to me, instantly followed by Lily's sharp scream. Hot oil had splashed right onto the back of her hand. Without even thinking, my body moved on pure instinct. I grabbed her hand, dragged it to the sink, and blasted it with cold water. She hissed in pain, frowning deeply at the angry red dot on her skin. Are we still doing this cooking challenge or what? I muttered, keeping her hand steady under the faucet. Are you tapping out after one little splash? It's just a tiny burn, I teased. You can take a punch, but you act like a baby over this? Who the hell are you calling punch resistant? She snapped back defensively. I didn't say another word. I just stood there, running cold water over her hand for another 30 seconds. I finally let go only once I was absolutely certain she was okay. But the second I looked up, it hit me. The entire room was dead silent, staring right at us. Clara's eyes were lit up like 2 massive spotlights. Somewhere in the control room, the director was probably having a massive heart attack from pure joy. The camera guy had zoomed all the way in on our hands, capturing us standing barely 20 centimeters apart. And then there was Lucas, standing right across the counter from us. His hand had completely frozen mid-beat over his bowl of eggs. Half his egg wash was in the bowl, and the rest was slowly dripping all over the countertop. He stared at the sloppy mess, let out a shaky breath, and forcefully plastered that fake smile back onto his face. Jiang Feng, you are still so deeply caring toward your ex, he said smoothly. Sure, running cold water over a burn is totally normal, but your reaction speed. He let out a low chuckle, his voice absolutely dripping with venom and hidden meaning. That really didn't look like the speed of a guy who is totally over his ex. It was a wickedly calculated strike. On the surface, he was praising my quick reflexes, but his real goal was to paint me as a pathetic, obsessed ex who just could not let go. In the brutal logic of this dating show, Still being hooked on your ex meant you completely failed the entire premise. His previous attempt to label me a clout chaser had completely flopped, so now he was attacking from a brand new angle. But before I could even respond, Lily cut in. "Lucas, your eggs are dripping all over the counter." Lucas snapped his head down, and that perfect, plastic smile of his finally shattered into pieces. He frantically snatched up a rag to wipe up his mess. He tried to look composed, but his hands were moving frantically. It was the desperate speed of a guy trying to look elegant for the cameras while screaming a million curses inside his head. Right after lunch, the producers threw us into a game of truth or dare. This was the ultimate, blood-soaked battlefield of literally any reality dating show. The bottle spun and pointed dead straight at Lily. Without hesitating, she chose truth. Clara immediately pounced. "Lily, did you really come on this show just for Jiangfeng?" The entire room completely stopped breathing. Everyone was dying to ask that question, but nobody had the guts to actually say it out loud. Clara was definitely the most fearless one here. Or maybe she was just the most desperate to know the real answer. Lily calmly picked up her glass of lemonade, took a slow, deliberate sip, set it down softly, and just pursed her lips. "I would say a certain percentage of it is." "Wait, exactly how much of a percentage is that?" Clara pressed eagerly, but Lily just smirked. "Your question quota is up. You only get one." Clara immediately pouted in defeat. On the very next spin, the bottle landed right on Lucas. He confidently chose truth as well. I locked eyes with him and asked my one question. "Lucas, have you ever seriously offended anyone in the entertainment industry?" He completely froze for a second, then forced a tight laugh. "What does that have to do with a dating show?" he asked defensively. "It's truth or dare, right? You literally just said we could ask absolutely anything," I replied. His fake smile flickered ever so slightly. "No," he lied smoothly. "Everyone has a little friction while building their career, but I always go out of my way to stay on great terms with everybody." "Oh, really? Then what about Ethan Chen?" I fired back coldly. In a split second, Lucas's arrogant smile was completely wiped from his face. He stared at me like someone had just ripped out his power cord. Ethan Chen was an actor who debuted right alongside Lucas exactly 3 years ago. Back in their talent show days, they were practically inseparable. Fans proudly called them the ultimate brothers. But later on, Ethan got completely destroyed by an inexplicable internet hate campaign and was forced to quit the industry entirely. The official public statement claimed he left for strictly personal reasons. But the darkest rumors in the underground scene swore that all his dirty laundry was secretly leaked by Lucas's own team. How did I know all this? My manager, Mike, spilled the beans. Sure, Mike might just be some low-level manager, but the guy is a literal walking cheat code for industry gossip. Plus, Ethan Chen was one of my college photography models. I even shot him for my senior project. After he was forced out of the industry, he tracked me down. He drank all night in dead silence. But right before he left the next morning, he dropped one chilling warning. "Jiangfeng, stay the hell away from Lucas. The most toxic snakes are the ones who never stop smiling." Lucas completely froze for about 4 seconds. On a reality TV show, that is a lifetime of dead air. 4 seconds of silence is all the internet needs to spawn 100 savage memes. Ethan Chen was my friend. Lucas finally found his voice, forcing it back to a deadpan calm. "I am sorry he quit the business, but that was his own choice. It has absolutely nothing to do with me." "Uh-huh." I just nodded. "If you say your hands are clean, then I guess they are." My tone was cold, totally flat. But everyone in that room felt the heavy, unspoken threat hanging in the air. You can claim innocence all you want, but the internet? They smell blood. Beside me, sipping her lemonade, Lily's lips curled up into the faintest little smirk. The bottle spun for the 3rd time and landed dead on me. I picked dare. Lucas's eyes lit up. "For your dare, text Lily, right this second, and show the entire camera crew your complete chat history with her." I knew instantly this was a calculated trap. If our texts were too flirty, the trolls would shred me for faking a breakup just to milk the reality TV fame. If they were too cold, they would rip into me for being petty 2 whole years after we split. Why even come on a dating show with your ex? Either way, Lucas was handing the media a loaded gun to ruin me. Without breaking a sweat, I whipped out my phone and opened the chat app. I pulled up Lily's messages and flipped my screen for the whole world to see. It was brutal, a massive wall of green text, total one-sided spam from Lily. In the entire history, I had replied less than 10 times, barely muttering 3 words each time. Her very last text read, "You are ghosting me again, Jiangfeng." And me? Left her on read. The entire room absolutely lost their minds laughing. Clara was howling, practically crying with laughter, and even Maria, who usually kept her cool, had to clamp a hand over her mouth. Lily's face dropped. Her eyes burned with that humiliating, suffocating rage of getting completely exposed on national television. She snapped her head toward me, shooting pure daggers. Jiang Feng, you are so dead. Was that your sick idea of a dare? Hey, you are the one who challenged me. Lucas forced a laugh, but it sounded totally plastic. This backfire was definitely not in his master plan. The snake thought he was going to expose some secret, messy romance to use as prime tabloid trash. Instead, he just broadcasted to millions that the A-list superstar was shamelessly, helplessly thirsting over her nobody ex. Ironically, the viewers ate it up. They realized Lily was head over heels for this guy, desperate enough to double and triple text him like a crazy fangirl. And as for me, the brooding underdog, I either truly did not care anymore, or I was playing the most agonizing game of hard to get. Either way, the audience was hooked. When the episode dropped that night, we completely hijacked the top 10 trending hashtags. Number 1, Jiang Feng's brutal chat history. Number 2, Lily's desperate texts. Number 3, Lucas gets utterly wrecked. Number 4, the truth about Ethan Chen. Under that last hashtag, Ethan's dormant fanbase from 3 years ago resurrected. The comment sections were going wild. Finally, someone actually had the guts to call him out. Lucas, you owe Ethan an apology. Jiang Feng is an absolute legend for this. Then my phone buzzed. It was my manager, Mike. Bro, your follower count just smashed 6 million. I even set up your official fan club hashtag. We are calling it Lost for Words. That savage clip of you exposing the texts is going crazy viral on TikTok right now. Get this, a massive screenwriter just reached out. They literally want to turn your underdog revenge story into a blockbuster script. I left him on read though, because a text from Lily popped up first. Lily texted, Jiang Feng, you absolutely planned that today. Everyone saw the chat history. You made me look like a pathetic clown. My thumb hovered over the keyboard for a long, heavy moment before I typed back. Look at the screenshots and tell me who the real clown is. A filthy rich, A-list movie star spams over 100 desperate messages to her broke photographer ex, and he replies less than 10 times. Who do you honestly think the internet is laughing at right now? Lily sent a single question mark. I replied, you are not embarrassing yourself. The fans, they just think you are being raw and authentic. The typing bubble on her end vanished. Total silence for what felt like forever. Lily finally asked, did you do this to protect me? You totally manipulated this, didn't you? I texted back, go check the trending tab. The fans are all talking about how cute your clinginess is. Another agonizing 3 minutes of radio silence. Then Lily texted, Jiang Feng. I replied, yeah, Lily, I absolutely hate you. I sent, uh-huh. And then Lily replied, I love you too. I stared at those last 3 words for a solid 15 seconds. Heart pounding, I jammed my phone under my pillow, rolled over, and squeezed my eyes shut. But sleep, not a chance. By the 5th day of shooting, things took a dangerously twisted turn. During a morning break, a frantic staff member slipped a sealed envelope into my hand. No name, no return address, just a single printed screenshot inside. It was a leaked, highly confidential chat history between Lucas and some shady burner account. The message was crystal clear. Lucas was putting a bounty on my head, begging the guy to dig up any filthy dirt he could find to destroy me. He wanted anything that could ruin my life. But his main target? He wanted the dark, buried truth behind exactly why Lily and I really broke up. The more explosive the scandal, the better. That was the text. The reply pinged back. I dug into him. This guy is as clean as a blank sheet of paper. The only thing we found is that camera Lily threw away 2 years ago. And get this, he didn't even report it to the cops. Lucas's cold response sent a chill down my spine. Then fabricate it. I folded the screenshot into quarters and tucked it securely into my shirt pocket. Fabricate? Sure, go ahead and fabricate some lies. I'll be waiting. Right at noon, the production crew hauled us out for an off-site shoot at a flower field out in the suburbs. The 8 of us were split up into 2 cars. Lily slid into mine. That left just me, Lily, and the cameraman riding in absolute silence. The camera guy was up front in the passenger seat, his lens dead set on us in the back. Lily sat stiffly beside me, just staring out the window. 10 whole minutes passed without a single word. Didn't sleep well last night? I asked. She didn't even turn her head. Her voice was barely a whisper. My massive dark circles had completely given me away. I'm fine. I just tossed and turned a bit. Jiang Feng, she sighed. For a guy like you, saying I'm fine means things are falling apart, and saying it'll do means you're basically at death's door. We were together for 2 years. I cracked your little code a long time ago. I stayed quiet for a beat. Are you thinking about what I said last night? She finally turned to meet my eyes. Which part? I asked. Your acting. I really looked at her then. She had light makeup on today, but even heavy concealer couldn't hide the dark, exhausted shadows under her eyes. She hadn't slept a wink either. Lily, I started. You didn't sign up for this dating show just for my sake. And you definitely aren't here just to smile for the cameras. You've got an ulterior motive, don't you? Her eyes widened in shock for a split second. What are you talking about? I'm talking about Lucas, I replied. You called him a two-faced snake before and warned me to steer clear. Is there some bad blood between you two? She broke eye contact and looked back out the glass. The silence stretched out even longer this time. 3 years ago, she began, her voice suddenly going completely flat, dead empty of emotion. Right before Ethan Chen quit the entertainment industry, he came to me. He begged me to help him expose the truth. He got his hands on evidence showing Lucas's team hired a troll army to ruin his name, but it just wasn't a smoking gun. He desperately needed an A-lister with enough influence to back him up. And then I turned my back on him. I didn't help. I stared at her side profile. At the time, my own reputation was taking a massive beating, she confessed. I had just won Best Actress, and the entire internet was ripping me apart, saying I had zero talent and only won because of shady investors. My manager warned me not to step into muddy waters, so I listened to her. Her voice was eerily calm, like she was narrating a tragic story about a complete stranger. Half a month later, Ethan Chen packed his bags and quit the industry for good. He made one final post online. Thank you to everyone who helped me, and to those who didn't. When I saw those words, I was right in the middle of shooting a crying scene. The director called that crying scene the absolute peak of my acting career. She paused, her breath catching. They didn't know. I wasn't acting. A heavy silence swallowed the car. Up front, the cameraman nervously stole a glance at us through the rearview mirror. The little red recording light was still blinking. So, you joined this dating show, I said slowly, letting it sink in. To use this setup to pay off a guilt trip from 3 years ago? Not entirely. But it's not totally false either. She forced a bitter smile. The debt that I, Lily, owe, I'm going to pay it back with my own 2 hands. Pay it back with what? I challenged. Can't you see exactly what he's pulling right now? I thought about it for a second. He's digging for dirt on me, and if he comes up empty-handed, he's going to fabricate it. Lily whipped her head around, absolute daggers in her eyes. How did you know? I pulled that piece of paper out of my shirt pocket, still folded in quarters, and dropped it into her lap. She unfolded it, staring at it for barely 3 seconds. Her face completely dropped. Her knuckles turned stark white as she crushed the paper into a tight, trembling ball. This absolute piece of trash. Her voice shook, fighting back pure rage. It's been 3 years, and he's still using the exact same dirty playbook. He pulled this identical stunt on Ethan Chen back then. First, dig up the dirt. If there is none, just make it up. Once the lies are cooked up, buy out the troll farms. Let it spread like a virus all over the internet overnight. By the time the victim even wakes up, explanations are utterly useless because the public has already swallowed their toxic first impression. So, what's the master plan here? Wait for him to take a shot and then counterattack? Counterattack with what? You just said the evidence from 3 years ago wasn't a smoking gun. Just because it wasn't enough 3 years ago doesn't mean it isn't enough today. She looked me dead in the eye. After Ethan quit, he didn't just give up. He's been living in the shadows, quietly stockpiling evidence. He tracked down an old whistleblower from Lucas's own inner circle. This guy has the full, unedited bank records, proving Lucas bought that smear campaign. But we need a catalyst. The perfect trap to make Lucas swallow the bait on his own. I leaned heavily back against the leather seat, staring down at the floor mats. So, this whole dating show is your perfect trap. You walked right into this circus because you knew Lucas would be here. You're going to push him until he exposes his true ugly colors on live national television. Lily didn't say a single word, but her dead silence gave me all the answers I needed. Then, what about me? I demanded, the sting of betrayal hitting hard. What exactly is my role in your grand master plan? Am I just your ex-boyfriend, your personal human shield, or just the perfect bait to force Lucas into showing his hand? Her icy facade cracked for a split second. It was insanely brief, but I definitely caught it. You're not the bait, she murmured softly. But she knew damn well he would come after me anyway. I just went dead silent. Before you even showed up, you knew he'd point his spear right at my chest. I pressed, all because I'm your ex. I'm the absolute easiest target for him to exploit right now. So, when you frantically texted me on WeChat telling me to keep my distance from him, it wasn't to protect me at all. It was because you were terrified that before your little revenge plot could even launch, I'd get taken out first. Lily's lips gave a slight, nervous tremble. Jiang Feng, she started, but I cut her off. Am I right? The car jerked to a sudden stop. We had finally made it to the flower field. Lily completely ignored my question, shoved the heavy car door open, and stepped out. She took 2 steps, then froze without even glancing back. You're 80% right, she murmured. And the other 20%? I challenged. The other 20% is that I genuinely just wanted to see you. And with that, she walked away, never once looking back. Her ponytail swayed gently in the wind. I just sat there in the car, staring at her back. 2 whole years later, and this woman is still absolutely flawless when it comes to scheming and using people. And yet, that one tiny sliver of truth, tucked away right in the dark cracks of her lies, makes it completely impossible for me to stay mad at her. I let out a heavy sigh, pushed the car door open, and finally stepped out into the breeze. The main task for today's flower field shoot was incredibly cheesy. Take a photo of the one person who makes your heart beat the absolute fastest. While the rest of the cast members were frantically scrambling to snap phone pictures of each other, I was lugging around my professional camera. And just to be clear, this is the one I'm using for the show, not the expensive one that got brutally smashed down the stairs. This one was a brand new replacement, bought only after months of eating instant noodles and scraping every single penny together. I wandered around the edge of the field, hunting for the perfect angle. Lily was standing right in the middle of a vibrant patch of golden flower. Her back was to me, her head tilted up as she quietly watched the clouds drift by. Slowly, I raised my camera. Through the viewfinder, the gentle breeze caught her crisp white shirt, making it flutter beautifully. Her hair danced wildly in the air, and the golden sunlight cast an angelic halo right around her silhouette. The exact second my finger pressed the shutter, a sudden, vivid flashback hit me. College, sophomore year, that tiny, overgrown garden behind the campus. Lily had completely ditched her most important major course just to come track me down. She was still fully decked out in this ridiculous stage costume she hadn't bothered to take off yet. Dragging her thin boots across the grass, she sprinted toward me, completely tripped over her own heavy hemline, and absolutely ate it, landing face first right in the dirt. By the time I actually clicked the shutter back then, she was sprawled out on the lawn, aggressively cursing someone out. Hilariously, that ridiculous, unhinged photo went viral and became the absolute most liked picture I ever took. When I used it for my senior graduation project, the professor highly praised it, claiming the real subject wasn't even the girl, but her raw, chaotic, and vibrant vitality. Lily was so furiously embarrassed back then. She mocked the professor's exact words right back at my face. Oh, so what he's saying is I face, planted into the dirt with a whole lot of raw vitality? I couldn't help but chuckle at the memory. The present-day Lily turned around, caught me pointing the camera right at her, and totally froze for a split second. But then, her lips slowly curled into a genuine, warm smile. It wasn't that fake, PR-approved business smile, and it definitely wasn't her polished A-list actress smirk. It was a real, unguarded smile, the kind where she was laughing just a bit too hard, flashing that one cute little fang as her eyes curved into happy crescents. Click. The shutter snapped again. Trying to be a creepy stealth photographer? She teased, strolling over to check out the camera's display screen. Please, your face is practically a public resource. I shot back smoothly. It legally doesn't even count as stealth photography. Jiang Feng, stay right there. Take another one with me, she demanded, playfully punching my arm right as I held the lens up. Thanks to that, the resulting photo was a totally blurry mess. You ruined it. You need to compensate me, she whined. Compensate you for what? I scoffed. How about you compensate me for that $56,000 first? She rolled her eyes. Oh my God, you're still bringing that old grudge up? Right on cue, Lucas strolled over from the far side of the flower field, quietly watching us bicker. His smile was perfectly manufactured. His walk was sickeningly composed. Jiang Feng, man, you look incredibly professional with that camera, he said as he closed the distance. His tone was coated in a layer of fake, sickening friendliness. Do you think you could snap a quick one of me too? You can just use this exact angle here, with that purple patch right in the background. He immediately shifted into position, striking this wildly pretentious, magazine cover-leaning pose, chin tilted up just right, gaze locked in a look of profound, moody sophistication. But the exact second I lifted the lens and pressed the shutter, a fat, angry bee landed squarely on the tip of his nose. Lucas's eyes instantly bulged out of his head. His mouth dropped open in absolute panic as his hands started wildly swatting the air in front of his face. Click, 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 click. The shutter fired off 4 times in rapid succession. A truly flawless burst shot. Every single frame was top-tier, internet-breaking meme material. Got it, I smirked. I casually lowered the camera. I'll make sure to send these to you later. Lucas aggressively rubbed his nose, which he had smacked bright red in his panic. His polished, handsome smile was completely falling apart. Can we maybe choose which ones actually get used? He stammered nervously. Oh, don't worry about it, I grinned. Every single one is completely different. They all capture your unique, manly charm. Lily, who had been standing right next to us the whole time, laughed so incredibly hard she literally had to crouch down in the dirt, her shoulders shaking uncontrollably. Later that evening, back at the villa, the producers hit us with a brutal secret voting segment. We all had to anonymously write down the name of the one guest we absolutely least wanted to spend time with. When the harsh results were finally revealed to the group, Lucas had somehow racked up 3 entire votes. I had 0. Lucas stared dead at the tally board. That stupid, fake smile was still plastered on his face, but his fingers rapidly twitched, tapping 3 hard times against the seam of his pants. It was the exact frantic rhythm of a man who desperately wanted to strangle someone to death, but was being forced to hold it all inside. Later that night, safely back in my room, I unlocked my phone. There was a message from Lily. Zhang Feng. Which photo did you pick? Lily texted. You know exactly which one, I replied. Jiang Feng here, the one marked with a B. Honestly, even I was pretty satisfied with how that one turned out. Then Lily spammed. Jiang Feng Meng. Lily here, what about mine? I texted back. Jiang Feng here, what's wrong with it? She demanded. Lily speaking. Just send me the original. I sent her the original file. Resolution 6000 by 4000. Taking up 23.7 megabytes of space. 5 minutes later, she replied, Lily speaking, you're still the guy who takes the absolute best photos of me. I typed back. Jiang Feng says, that's just because the foundation is so good, she asked. Are you actually complimenting me? I teased. Jiang Feng says, I'm complimenting the camera, Lily replied. Jiang Feng, I am completely speechless. I just set my phone down and turned off the lights. In the pitch black, a tiny sliver of light from a street lamp bled through a crack in the curtains and hit the ceiling. I just lay there, staring at that spot for a long, long time. The day we broke up, 2 years ago, I actually had things I wanted to say to her, a whole lot of things. Like how she said I was too exhausted, but I didn't feel exhausted at all. Or how she felt completely dispensable in my life. But she had no idea what my life turned into after she walked away. Or, for example, that little note tucked inside the pocket of my wallet. I touch it every single day. It's not like I purposely pull it out to stare at it. It's just that every time I pay for something, my fingers unconsciously brush against that exact spot. But I didn't say any of those things back then, and I still couldn't say them now. It's not that I didn't want to. It's just, I have this massive flaw. The more important something is to me, the harder it is to actually say out loud. Lily was right about one thing. I never hold on. But what she doesn't know is that it's not because I don't want to. I'm just terrified that if I ever try to hold on, I'll never be able to let go. And back then, I couldn't even give her the life she deserved. I was just a broke photographer who couldn't even feed himself. How could a guy like that hold on to someone so incredibly radiant? But that was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I honestly thought letting her go was the right thing to do. Now, I just don't know. Then, on the 7th day, the bomb finally dropped. I woke up in the morning, checked my phone, and boom, my entire screen was flooded with the exact same trending topic. Lily's ex-boyfriend, Jiang Feng, exposed for dark secrets. I just scoffed and clicked on the so-called insider leak. I could recognize this kind of dirty tactic with my eyes closed. The post claimed that I, Jiang Feng, secretly took photos of female classmates back in college and even got disciplined by the school. It said Lily and I broke up because I cheated on her with some random model. And worst of all, it claimed my true purpose for joining the dating show was just to use Lily's fame to get popular, calling me a top-tier leech. Every single lie was backed up by pictures, screenshots of chat logs, and so-called witness testimonies. Honestly, at first glance, it almost looked legit, but looking closer, it was completely full of holes. The official seal on that disciplinary document was clearly photoshopped. The color difference was ridiculously obvious to the naked eye. And get this, the date on the cheating chat logs was July 32nd, 2022. There is no 32nd in any calendar. As for the 2 screenshots of witness testimonies, One WeChat interface was on Android, and the other was on Apple. But somehow, the WeChat IDs were exactly the same. This level of sloppy fraud was definitely bought from some cheap PR team on a budget site. But the average netizen wouldn't look at these details carefully. They only care about the juicy conclusions. They only feed on the raw emotions. The comment section was already tearing me to shreds. Just as I expected, he's a total scumbag. No wonder Lily broke up with him. So disgusting. Using his ex for clout and secret photography? Why is this kind of trash even allowed on TV? Sure, there were a few people trying to argue back. Hold on. The color of the seal on this disciplinary file is totally off, right? And July 32nd? What parallel universe calendar are they using? You're trying to sell dirt with this garbage level of Photoshop. You're literally insulting my intelligence. But those tiny dissenting voices were quickly drowned out, all because several massive influencer accounts simultaneously reposted the expose. Mike had warned me about their market rates before, anywhere from 50,000 to 200,000 per post. I calmly set my phone down. I didn't panic, because all of this was exactly what I expected. Lucas made his move a full day earlier than I thought he would. I guess that 4-shot B sequence triggered him way too hard. Suddenly, Lily's call came through. It didn't even ring for a full second before I picked up. I could already feel it. Her voice carried this heavy, suppressed rage, like 2 tons of dry firewood just waiting for a spark. I'm having my manager, Sarah, issue a lawyer's letter right this second. Lily, no, I told her firmly. Wait, just wait. Wait for what? She exploded. Jiang Feng, your reputation is being trampled into the dirt right now. How much is a reputation even worth? I sighed. I only just gained a tiny bit of fame over these past few days anyway. It doesn't matter to me. Well, it matters to me. Her voice suddenly broke, carrying a fragile tremor that I almost never heard from her. I won't allow anyone to use me to hurt you. Secret photography, cheating, a leech, she spat. Which filthy gutter did they pull this absolute garbage from? For all 4 years of college, every single photo you took was for a graded assignment. Which one of those was ever secret photography or cheating? The date on those leaked chat logs? July 32nd. Seriously, do these trolls think the entire internet is completely illiterate? Her breathing was heavy over the line. Jiang Feng, just listen to me. I cut her off. There are only 2 things I truly regret in my entire life, Lily. The first was not stepping up to help Ethan Chen 3 years ago. The second, letting you walk away 2 years ago. I swear to you, I will not let the exact same thing happen a third time. The phone went dead silent for 6 agonizing seconds. She was holding her breath, just waiting for me to respond. Wait, I haven't figured out exactly what to say yet. But Lily, please, don't do anything rash just yet. I have a plan. What kind of plan? She stammered. Just, do you trust me? Another heavy pause. When have I ever not trusted you? Her voice completely cracked. Then just wait, I told her. 3 days. 3 days at the absolute most. I hung up the phone. Downstairs, the atmosphere in the villa had plummeted right below freezing. The other guests were staring at me, their gazes a complicated, messy mix of emotions. Some looked at me with deep sympathy, while others were already avoiding me, like the literal plague. One guest actually started walking over, clearly wanting to say something, but got violently yanked away by their manager. Chloe, she just kept her head shoved down the entire time, refusing to even make eye contact with me. Victoria managed to secretly slip a bottle of water into my hand before quickly darting off. And then there was Lucas. He was the absolute last one to stroll downstairs for breakfast. He locked eyes with me, plastering on a smile just dripping with fake concern. Jiang Feng, I saw what blew up online. Man, cyberbullying is truly terrifying, isn't it? Are you holding up okay? I'm perfectly fine, I replied coldly. Well, if you ever need any help, just say the word, man. I know quite a few heavy hitters in the industry who work in PR. No, thanks. I think I'll pass on that, but thanks anyway. I took a slow, deliberate bite of my sandwich, then looked right back up at him. But hey, what about you? Did you manage to sleep well last night, I asked. Oh, quite well, actually, he replied. Well, that's really good to hear, I countered. I was honestly worried you might be under way too much pressure. After all, you were the one who got 3 whole votes in the anonymous ranking. Being officially crowned the guy everyone least wants to hang out with? Man, that's got to be a pretty hard blow to the ego, His perfect little smile stiffened for a fraction of a second. Oh, and by the way, I casually took another bite of my sandwich. My tone was light and breezy, as if we were just chatting about the morning weather. You know, the sheer speed at which all those shady marketing accounts reposted that dirt on me, it was shockingly uniform. They all posted at almost the exact same minute, almost as if they'd all just received the exact same assignment. Tell me, Lucas, have you ever worked as a manager? You seem like the type who'd be very intimately familiar with this exact kind of operational process. The air in the room went dead quiet for 3 excruciating seconds. Lucas slowly picked up his coffee cup. What exactly do you mean by that? Oh, nothing in particular, I shrugged. Just making an observation. I'm a photographer, remember? I'm incredibly used to observing things. He took a long, slow sip of his coffee, set the porcelain cup down, and sharply tapped his fingers on the table twice. Jiang Feng, you know, sometimes, for people who have supposedly been wronged, the absolute best thing to do is just clearly clarify themselves, not frantically splash dirty water onto other people. You know what? You're totally right, I said, flashing him a dangerous smile. But an even smarter move? That's letting the rat who's actually splashing the water admit it all by themselves. Wouldn't you agree with that? Lucas instantly stopped talking. The look in his eyes rapidly shifted from fake concern, straight to intense scrutiny, and then from scrutiny to something else entirely. What was that look? Pure alarm? When a helpless rabbit suddenly bares its fangs, a seasoned hunter will always feel that deep primal sense that something is horribly wrong. The rest of the day's filming somehow continued right on schedule, as if everything was perfectly normal, but everyone absolutely knew it in their hearts. The toxic undercurrents had finally surged right up to the surface. During a break, the show's director quietly pulled me off to the side. Jiang Feng, listen. The production team's official stance regarding all that nasty dirt floating around online. Do you have anything you need to officially respond to? Because, well, if you just want to quietly withdraw from the filming right now, we can easily arrange that. I am absolutely not withdrawing, I shot back. But tell me, director, don't you want record-breaking high ratings? He instantly froze in his tracks. Every single one of those smears is completely fake, and I have the hard evidence to prove it. But right now is definitely not the right time to release it. Just give me 3 days. After exactly 3 days, I locked eyes with him. The ratings for this little reality show are going to absolutely shatter record. The director stared deeply into my eyes. He likely read something he was very used to seeing in superstars, but simply hadn't seen in a regular, non-celebrity contestant in a very long time. Absolute, unshakable confidence. You're really not just an ordinary person, are you? He whispered, almost to himself. Oh, I am just Jiang Feng, a simple photographer and a perfectly ordinary guy who only came onto this messy dating show for a $30,000 appearance fee. 3 days, I repeated. The second he walked away, I pulled out my phone and called Mike. Mike, listen to me. I need you to help me contact someone immediately. Who? Mike asked, confused. A former operations lead who used to work on Lucas's management team. His name is Julian. Ethan Chen actually has his personal contact information. Tell him he needs to be ready to step out of the shadows and publicly testify. Wait, 3 days from now, you're actually going to take down Lucas? Mike asked in disbelief. It's not that I'm taking him down, Mike. It's the fact that he has already tried to take me down way more than once. But brother, Mike warned, his voice trembling. Lucas has massive corporate investors standing right behind him. Are you totally sure you want to go head-to-head against a guy like him? So what if he has big investors backing him? I scoffed, because I have the absolute biggest investor in the world backing me up. Lily. I hung up the phone with a satisfying click, spun around, and nearly crashed right into Lucas's chest. He had been quietly standing right there in the dark shadows, just around the corner of the corridor. I honestly had no idea just how long he'd been lurking there. What were you talking about just now? Sounded oh so mysterious, he asked. That same sickeningly sweet smile plastered on his face. Oh, nothing, I replied smoothly. Just urging a friend to finally pay back some borrowed money. Really? How much do they actually owe? Not much, but just enough to make someone completely lose absolutely everything. I confidently walked right past him, and in the exact moment our shoulders brushed against each other, I caught it from the very corner of my eye. That fake, arrogant smile of his, it finally completely disappeared. For the absolute first time since this ridiculous show even started filming, he wasn't wearing that smug, plastic smile in front of me, because that new expression on his face, that was pure, unadulterated fear. Day 8. The toxic dirt had been fermenting online for a full 24 hours, and the real game was only just beginning. The internet was out for my blood. The hashtag Zongfeng, get out of the industry, was blowing up everywhere, and the public backlash had reached an absolute boiling point. Rabid haters were completely flooding my social media. Some even swarmed the reality show's official page, screaming for the producers to kick me off the cast immediately. My manager, Mike, blew up my phone with 30 desperate messages in a single day, all hammering home one frantic question. When the hell are you going to fight back? Your supporters are giving up. And he wasn't wrong. My loyal fan base, or rather, my former fan base, was hemorrhaging in real time. Just days ago, I was sitting pretty at 6 million followers. Now, I had plummeted to 4 million. But honestly, that was still 4 million people. Those 4 million were the ride or die fans who actually believed in me. Lily hadn't said a single word to me over the last 2 days, but I knew it was taking every ounce of her willpower to hold back. Her manager, Sarah, even posted online complaining about it. She wrote, "My artist is forcing me to hold my tongue." She said if I don't let her drop a massive lawsuit in 3 days, she's going to go nuclear and become the lawsuit herself. Meanwhile, the guy behind all my misery, Lucas, was suddenly acting like the life of the party over the past couple of days. On camera, he was playing the perfect gentleman, carrying bags for the female guests, eagerly washing the dishes, and brewing coffee for everyone like some absolute saint. While my reputation was burning to the ground, he was soaking up all the screen time, trying to cement himself as the ultimate sweet guy of the dating show. Today's shoot was all about the build-up to the final, high-stakes confession day. The rules were simple. Everyone had to write a letter, and during tomorrow's confession segment, we'd have to read it out loud to the one person who made our heart race. While the cameras were down for a break, Lucas smoothly slid over to Lily's side and offered her a mug of hot chocolate. "Lily, you've seemed a little off lately," he purred. "You haven't been in the best mood these past 2 days. Is it because of all the drama surrounding Zhang Feng?" Lily slowly looked up at him, completely ignoring the drink. "What do you think?" "I just don't think you should let his mess ruin your vibe," Lucas chuckled. "Come on, Lily. You are literally the most outstanding actress in all of China. You deserve someone infinitely better." Lily didn't blink. She just sat there, staring dead into his eyes for 3 agonizing seconds. In those 3 seconds, her face went from freezing cold to utterly analytical. It was like she was dissecting a bug under a microscope. "Lucas," she finally said, her voice completely deadpan. "Did you seriously think you were that someone better?" Lucas gave a slick smile. "I wouldn't go that far, but at least I'd never put you through this kind of stress." Lily finally took the hot chocolate from his hand, only to slam it down on the table without taking a single sip. "You wouldn't make me worry, huh? Then tell me, when Ethan Chen was having a breakdown, exactly what were you doing?" Lucas's smug little smile instantly shattered, and I don't mean it just cracked, it completely disintegrated. The fake, charming warmth in his eyes vanished, as if someone had just yanked the power cord. This has absolutely nothing to do with Ethan," he stammered. "Whether it does or not isn't up to you to decide," she snapped back. Lily stood up, towering over him with a chilling elegance. When she spoke again, her voice was so light it felt like a knife slipping between his ribs. "Let me give you a reality check, Lucas. You put on a decent act, but you totally forgot one crucial detail." Lucas swallowed hard. "What detail?" "I am an award-winning actress. Your pathetic excuse for a performance wouldn't even make it past a first-round audition in my book." Without another word, she turned on her heel and walked off. Lucas was left frozen in his seat, all the color completely drained from his face. He was shaking so badly that the hot chocolate spilled all over his fingers, yet he didn't even flinch. I stood at the far end of the hallway, silently watching the whole massacre unfold. Lily marched straight toward me, not slowing down for a second. As she brushed past my shoulder, she leaned in and whispered, "It's been 3 days. I absolutely couldn't endure it anymore." That very night, I sat down and ruthlessly compiled every single piece of ammunition I had been hoarding. The secret audio recordings, the bank transfers, the notarized contracts proving he paid for the smear campaign against me, and Julian's rock-solid written testimony. Julian was even willing to step in front of a camera and expose the whole conspiracy on video. I also threw in Ethan's complete statement, along with the screenshots from that mysterious envelope, the fake chat logs Lucas's goons had completely fabricated when they couldn't dig up any real dirt on me. I methodically split this nuke of an evidence file into 3 separate folders. The first went straight to Mike, so he could coordinate a massive media blitz. The second went to Lily's powerhouse manager, Sarah. Sarah already had the official cease and desist document signed, stamped, and loaded, just begging to hit the launch button. The final copy? I kept that one safely tucked away for myself. Tomorrow was confession day, the grand finale of this twisted reality show. I sat quietly at my desk, a blank piece of expensive stationery glaring back at me. The producers demanded that every single cast member pour their heart out in a handwritten confession letter. My pen hovered uselessly above the paper, refusing to ink a single word. My head was completely flooded with vivid flashes of Lily from the past few days. Her stunning silhouette against the night sky on the rooftop, that breathless smile she flashed me in the flower field, and that nostalgic song, Summer Breeze. The exact same track we used to loop on repeat for 2 years straight. I do want to see you. I hate you. But God, I miss you too. And then, my mind drifted to that tiny, scrawled note from 2 years ago. Stop staying up so late. My hands trembling slightly, I pulled out my wallet and unzipped the hidden pocket. Sure enough, that old battered note was still sitting right there. The edges of her handwriting had gone soft and fuzzy over time, and the ink was fading into the paper, but I could still read it perfectly. I took a deep breath and closed my eyes. For 2 agonizing years, I had been force-feeding myself the lie that walking away and letting her go was the honorable thing to do. A broken, penniless underdog had absolutely no right to drag down a girl who was destined to shine. But now, she had crossed 3,000 kilometers just to corner me on this ridiculous dating show, on live TV, in front of the entire country. She admitted I was the one she owed money to. She even played that same old song from our college days. She had endured 3 whole days of biting her tongue while I got dragged through the mud, all because I told her. Trust me, Lily was standing right there. She had done absolutely everything she could. So what about me? What the hell was I waiting for? I picked up my pen and wrote for a long time. I wrote straight until 3 in the morning. Then, it was confession day. The villa was decked out like a massive banquet hall. Flowers, balloons, and warm romantic lighting. They had 8 different cameras set up around the room. The director announced this was the season's final live broadcast, and the audience would vote in real time to crown the best couple. Live, real time. Perfect. I was rocking that Armani suit from Mike. He actually called just to warn me not to get it dirty. If you stain it, you can't afford to replace it, he'd said. I told him, relax. After today, I'll buy you 10 of them. You, and that attitude. Fine, I believe you, he laughed. Soon, the guests started filtering in. Chloe came out wearing a stunning red dress. Lily was in a gorgeous white gown, Victoria in a flowing aqua dress. And Lucas? He was sporting a custom black suit. His hair was perfectly styled. From the outside, the guy looked completely unfazed, but I caught his left index finger twitching just a bit. He had that hand shoved deep in his pocket, probably thinking no one would notice the nerves. But I saw it. A photographer's eyes never miss a single detail. Lily was the very last one to make her entrance. She wore a long champagne-colored dress. Her collarbones were bare, no flashy jewelry, just her hair in a simple side braid. The second she stepped out, the whole room seemed to hold its breath, including me. The confession segment kicked off in seating order. Chloe was up first. She stepped to the center of the stage, unfolded her letter, and flashed me a bright smile. Zhang Feng, even though I know your heart isn't with me, hanging out with you these past few days made me realize you're a genuinely great guy. Your photography is absolutely beautiful, and you're incredibly dedicated to your craft. I really hope you find happiness, no matter who it's with. She shot me a quick wink and hopped off the stage to a round of applause. Next, Lily read her letter to Lucas. It was polite, gentle, and perfectly safe. Lucas smiled warmly and thanked her. Chloe then read hers to another male guest and hurried off the stage, blushing. Finally, it was Lucas's turn. He confidently strode to the center of the stage. His gaze swept over the crowd before locking right onto Lily. Lily, he began, clearing his throat with a picture-perfect smile. Even though we haven't spent much time together, I feel. And that was my cue. I stood up. Instantly, every single eye in the room snapped to me. Behind the monitors, the director looked like he was about to smash his walkie-talkie. Zhang Feng, what are you doing? It's not your turn right now, a panicked staff member hissed from the sidelines. I know, I said calmly, but there are a few things I need to say. Right now, I walked straight to the middle of the stage. I faced the cameras, staring down the tens of millions of viewers tuning in live. Then, I whipped out my phone and wirelessly synced it to the stage projector. Boom! The first image flashed on the massive screen. It was Lucas. It was a screenshot of his private chats, complaining that his team couldn't find any dirt on me. On live TV, you could literally watch the color drain from Lucas's face in slow motion as he went completely ghost white. Someone sent this to me anonymously 2 days ago, I announced. My voice is chillingly calm as a weather reporter's. What you're looking at is a group chat between Lucas and his PR team. In this chat, he's straight up ordering them to manufacture fake scandals about me. Hidden cameras, cheating rumors, claims that I was leeching off others. Every single rumor was completely fabricated by them. Click. The screen switched to the second slide. It showed the exact bank transfer records used to fund his smear campaign, the payment amounts, the account numbers, the dates, even the transaction memos. Everything was displayed in crystal clear high definition. These shady payouts don't just stop at me. They go all the way back to 3 years ago. His target back then wasn't me. It was someone else. Some of you in this room might not recognize the name, but the fans will. His name is Ethan Chen. The live chat absolutely exploded. Comments flew by. Ethan Chen, I knew it. Oh my God. The truth about what happened 3 years ago is finally coming out. Click. The screen swapped to the third slide. A voice-to-text transcript from Lucas himself. It read, "We have to utterly destroy Ethan Chen. Otherwise, I'm not getting the lead role in that next project." Laid bare in black and white, every single word felt like a brutal knife slashing through the dead silence of the room. You could literally hear people's heartbeats. Lucas's lips were trembling uncontrollably. He stood frozen on that stage, his legs looking like they were filled with solid lead. He had completely crushed his romantic confession letter into a tight ball, his knuckles turning totally white from the grip. This is faked," he stammered out, his voice sounding pathetic and hollow. "I didn't miss a beat. The original audio file has an official judicial notarization number stamped right there in the bottom right corner of the screen. You're more than welcome to request a full forensic verification if you'd like." His eyes darted wildly around the room like a trapped animal desperately searching for an escape route. He looked at the director. The director's face was absolutely livid. He looked over at the cameraman. The lens was dead, locked on his panicked face. He looked toward the female guests. Not a single one of them would even meet his eye. And then, finally, he looked right at Lily. Lily just sat there, legs elegantly crossed, hands resting softly on her knees. Her face was completely unbothered, like she was watching a movie where she already knew the twist ending. "Lily, please, just tell them something," Lucas begged, his voice trembling with pure desperation. "You know I wouldn't do this. We've worked together for so long. You know who I really am." Slowly, Lily stood up. The sharp clack of her heels echoed through the dead silent room. "Lucas," she began, her tone perfectly even, but loud enough for every single person in the studio to hear. 3 years ago, Ethan Chen came to me. He begged me to help him tell the truth, and I turned my back on him. That will forever be my biggest regret." She took a slow breath, letting the tension build. "Today, this truth is 3 years late, but thank God it finally arrived." The fight instantly drained out of Lucas. His knees buckled right out from under him. Right there, in front of millions of viewers watching live, his confident facade completely shattered. He snapped back up, suddenly remembering the cameras were rolling, burning his very last ounce of willpower to stand tall. But his hands betrayed him, shaking uncontrollably. His lips quivered, the arrogant light in his eyes dying completely. "You," he choked out, his voice a raspy whisper. "You all set me up." "Nobody set you up, Lucas." I calmly clicked off the projector and slid my phone right back into my pocket. "You faked the evidence against me. You started those vicious rumors. You were the one who paid for the entire smear campaign. All I did was rip the lid off your lies." Where did you get this?" he stammered. "From your own inner circle," I replied coldly. His last mental defense crumbled. His eyes bulged in pure panic, shrinking like he'd just been dunked into freezing water. "Julian? Wait, was it Julian?" Nobody answered his frantic questions, but his mic picked up every single panicked mutter, broadcasting his guilt to tens of millions of screens nationwide. The live chat didn't just explode, it absolutely melted down. It was an absolute digital catastrophe. "It's over. He just admitted it. Who the heck is Julian? Look him up right now. Wait, did he just confess?" Lucas is completely done for. Ethan fans, assemble. 3 years. We waited 3 whole years for this. Lucas just stood there on the glowing stage, crumbling like a broken statue. He opened his mouth to defend himself one last time, but absolutely nothing came out. The forged confession letter slipped from his sweaty fingers, fluttering to the floor, looking glaringly white under the studio spotlights. Utterly defeated, he turned around. He barely made it 3 steps before stumbling, nearly eating dirt. The camera ruthlessly tracked his humiliated retreat all the way out the heavy studio doors. Slam. The heavy doors closed behind him. For 5 agonizing seconds, the entire venue was trapped in dead silence. Then, Chloe started clapping. Victoria joined in. The backstage crew started clapping. Even the main cameraman was awkwardly clapping with one hand. Over the radio, the director's voice was violently shaking. "Do not cut the feed. Keep it rolling. This is the most explosive television in variety show history. Don't you dare stop rolling." But Lily didn't clap. She just stared at me, a brilliant, unreadable emotion flashing in her gorgeous eyes. Slowly, I pulled out the letter I had stayed up all night writing. Director, I believe it's my turn now, right? Instantly, the cheering venue dropped back to a hush. The wild live chat immediately synced up into one massive, repeating chant. It's here, it's happening, oh my God, it's time. I stepped right into the center of the spotlight, unfolded my crinkled letter, and took a massive, shaking breath. Down in the audience, Lily's calm mask finally cracked into raw nervousness. She gripped her knees so tight her knuckles were turning completely white. Lily, I started watching her slender shoulders tremble. The day we broke up, 2 years ago, you told me I just looked too tired. You told me that I made you feel utterly replaceable, you said. I never even tried to fight for us. My voice echoed strong through the mic, but my hands were shaking like crazy. My thumb was nervously rubbing the edge of the paper into fuzz. And you were right. I never fought for you to stay. But it wasn't because I didn't care. It was because I cared way too much. I was terrified that if I opened my mouth, I'd never be able to let you go. And back then, a broke, no-name photographer couldn't give you the life you deserved. You deserved the world. So I walked away. Over on the sidelines, Chloe slapped both hands over her mouth, gasping. Tears were already streaming down her cheeks. But these past 2 years, I finally realized one thing. I flipped the letter over. On the back, there was only a single sentence. I held it out so she could see it clearly. Lily's tear-filled eyes locked onto my messy handwriting. Her lips pressed tight together. She tried to hold it in, but the tears silently spilled over, dropping one by one onto the hands resting in her lap. The paper simply read, "Stop staying up so late. That line you used to tell me every night. I'm finally giving it back to you. Because starting today, it's my turn to take care of you." I slowly lowered the paper. Lily, I'm not that broke kid anymore. I mean, hey, I just bagged a $300,000 appearance fee for this show, right? That's enough to buy you all the cameras you want, even if you feel like hurling them off a 5th-floor balcony. A watery laugh violently exploded from her chest. She was sobbing and laughing at the exact same time, her shoulders shaking uncontrollably. I stepped right off that stage and crouched down gently in front of her. Lily, you don't have to say a word. She tried to choke out, her perfect makeup completely ruined by her tears. No, let me finish what I should have said 2 years ago, I interrupted softly. Shut up, she cried. No, I smiled. I'm done shutting up. I've kept my mouth shut way too long in this life. Reaching deep into my pocket, I pulled out a tiny, folded note I'd carried every single day for 2 years. The edges were frayed and the ink was badly faded, but I gently pressed it into the palm of her hand. Back in college, when you played Summer Breeze on stage, you missed, like, over a dozen notes. This time, you didn't miss a single note. You practiced for 2 years. Her fingers gripped the note so hard the paper crumpled. I practiced too. I practiced for 2 solid years. I practiced how to ask you to stay. Meanwhile, the live stream comment section completely vanished. It wasn't that no one was talking. The servers had literally crashed again. The director was screaming his lungs out into his walkie-talkie at the tech guys. Get more servers online, even if I have to sell my damn car. Get them up, back on stage. Lily stood up from her chair. She was already tall, but in those heels, she towered half a head over me. She looked down, tears still streaming down her face, but a huge, beautiful smile was playing at the corners of her mouth. Then, she lightly punched me right in the chest. 2 years. She choked out, syllable by syllable. Zhang Feng. 2 years. You made me wait for 2 whole years. I know. You don't know a damn thing. Yeah, I don't know a damn thing. She was laughing and crying all at once. Through her tears, she grabbed the lapels of my Armani jacket. This suit isn't even yours, is it? It's Mike's. You don't even own a suit, and you still came here to confess to me? You're completely broke, and you still had the nerve to show up? I did. Because you were here. At that, she let go of my lapels and threw her entire weight into my arm. She hit me with so much force that me and the borrowed Armani suit nearly toppled flat onto the floor. In the background, Chloe was screaming so loud her voice was cracking. Victoria was clapping like a maniac, and Lily Ann was a blubbering, laughing mess while recording the whole thing on her phone. Even the director had stopped yelling. He was quietly wiping away tears behind the monitor. Meanwhile, my phone was buzzing off the hook in my pocket with Mike's messages. I didn't even bother looking. My hands were way too busy holding the girl I love. Lily was squeezing me so tight, almost like she was terrified that if she let go, I'd vanish into thin air. Zhang Feng. She buried her face deep in the crook of my neck, her voice all muffled. Yeah? My 56,000. Wait, what? Are you seriously bringing up that 56 grand right now? I'm literally holding you in my arms, and you're asking me for money? 62,000. I was completely speechless. But man, I really truly love this woman. Fast forward 1 week, and the scandal surrounding Lucas hit the internet like an 8.5 magnitude earthquake. The legally notarized voice recordings were fully authenticated by major media outlets. It was 100% Lucas on tape. Financial authorities seized all the bank transfer records tied to his vicious smear campaigns, totaling over $2 million. Julian even sat down for a live on-camera interview and completely exposed how, 3 years ago, Lucas's team orchestrated the massive cyberbullying attack that nearly ruined Ethan Chen. 3 days after the evidence dropped, Lucas's PR team scrambled to release a statement, blaming the whole thing on management negligence. But 6 hours later, they had to nuke the post. The comment section was absolutely roasting them. Management negligence? You literally gave the orders yourself. In what world is that management negligence? Every single one of his brand deals vanished within a week. The new drama he was shooting got put on indefinite hold. Sponsors scrubbed his face from all their promotional materials completely overnight. His follower count tanked from 30 million to 8 million, and half of those were just new haters showing up to trash him in the comments. A paparazzi even caught him hiding out downstairs at his agency. In the leaked photos, Lucas was decked out in a mask and a baseball cap, hunched over and power walking away. The second the reporter shouted his name, he froze for a split second, and then sprinted off like a total coward. Meanwhile, Ethan Chen made a simple post. It's been 3 long years. Thank you to everyone who had my back. This time, I truly mean it. Thank you. Attached was a picture of a steaming bowl of extra spicy beef noodles. The top comment, Ethan, come back to us. It racked up 780,000 likes. I shared his post on my own page. No caption needed. The message was loud and clear. As for me, the live broadcast for the dating show's grand finale blasted past 120 million concurrent viewers. That was 8 times the highest viewership record in the show's entire history. The director literally cried 3 separate times when he called me. The first time was to thank me for pulling off a miracle for his ratings. The second time was begging me to come back for season 2. And the third, to tell me he actually did sell his car to pay for those extra servers. I just laughed and said, why would I go back? I've got a girlfriend now, man. Being on a dating show would be a terrible look. Besides, my buddy Mike helped me score 7 massive commercial deals. Hilariously, one of them was for a rugged camera brand. Their whole marketing pitch was, even if you chuck this thing off a 5th floor balcony, it survives. When Lily saw the storyboard for that ad, she chased me up 2 flights of stairs trying to wring my neck. Naturally, the hashtag Lily chases Zhang Feng up 2 flights of stairs got 300 million views. Our official couple's fan page hit over 10 million followers practically overnight. Every single day, the fans were digging up ancient, embarrassing photos of us from our college days. I have no idea who leaked it, but the most viral picture was one of Lily in full cosplay, face planted in the grass, swearing her head off. The top comment read, "Now this times is a real award-winning actress. Oh, and Mike is my agent now. The catch? We agreed to a 70-30 split. He gets 70%, and I get a measly 30. I snapped. Are you out of your mind? He just smirked and said, you're complaining while wearing one of the 10 Armani suits you owe him. Honestly, I still haven't returned that suit because Lily completely confiscated it. Her ridiculous excuse? We got back together while you were wearing this. This suit belongs to me now. When Mike heard that through the phone, he went dead silent for 3 whole minutes before replying with a single sigh. Accepted. Meanwhile, Ethan Chen finally made his massive comeback, re-debuting under a major agency's invitation. During his first comeback interview, a reporter aggressively asked if he had any final words for Lucas. Ethan paused, thinking it over, and simply said, nothing to say. I honestly don't hate him anymore. Holding on to hate is just way too exhausting. I'd rather use that energy to eat 2 extra bowls of noodles. That ridiculous quote instantly went viral, trending under the hashtag, better to eat 2 bowls of noodles than hate someone. As for Lily and me, I packed up and moved right into her apartment. She even bought me a brand new camera, a 5D4, the exact same model she tossed off a balcony all those years ago. While I was eagerly unboxing it, she stood hovering nearby, her face flashing a rare look of total guilt. I teased her, is this supposed to be my compensation? Does it include interest? She scoffed. It covers your emotional damages too. Say one more word, and I'm taking it straight back. Okay, I yield. I laughed, hanging the heavy camera around my neck. The moment I aimed the lens at her, she subconsciously started smoothing out her messy hair. Wait, what are you doing? She panicked. Taking a picture of you, I smiled. I don't have a drop of makeup on, she protested. I just looked at her. You really don't need it. I literally just woke up. My hair looks like a complete bird's nest. I shook my head. It looks perfect to me. She froze, completely stunned, as the tips of her ears turned bright red. Click! The shutter fired. In the final shot, Lily was in her baggy pajamas, hair wildly messy, gripping a slipper like a weapon, totally ready to launch it at my head. Her mouth was caught wide open, clearly mid-scream, demanding that I delete it immediately, but her eyes were curved up, showing this perfect mix of morning grumpiness and genuine joy. I instantly set that shot as my phone's wallpaper and finally posted the very first social media update of my life. I uploaded that exact chaotic photo with just one single line of text. No more staying up late. Someone is finally managing me. Within 3 minutes, the entire platform's servers completely crashed, and when Lily saw what I posted, she chased me around the whole apartment with that exact slipper for 3 solid laps. She eventually stopped to catch her breath, panting heavily as she leaned weakly against the bedroom doorframe. She glared daggers at me. Zhang Feng. Literally everyone on the internet just saw my gross morning face, my pristine image. My flawless reputation is ruined. I slowly walked over and gently took the slipper right out of her hand. Lily, I said softly. Why? Just don't stay up late anymore. Her mouth opened to argue, but the tip of her nose suddenly turned pink. And then she weakly punched me right in the chest. The force behind it felt exactly the same as it did 2 long years ago. Zhang Feng, she sniffled. Yeah, I answered. You're really annoying. Yeah, I am. Like, super annoying. Yeah, I know. You are just so incredibly annoying, she whispered. And for the second time in our lives, she threw herself completely into my arm. Only this time, I stood firmly planted on my feet and didn't get knocked over. Warm sunlight poured in through the glass window, catching the golden fragments scattered in her messy, beautiful hair. My phone kept vibrating incessantly on the living room coffee table. It was probably Mike blowing up my inbox with 100 panicked texts about the server crash. I didn't even bother to look. I held my entire world right there in my arms. And honestly, that was more than enough.